Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dan here with my new PC build. I'm happy to announce I upgraded from my old build, covered by vape, popcorn, and empty water bottles here, which was, 6700K, Corsair water cooler, Z170 Pro Gaming motherboard, a regular 1080. It's a great cookie cutter build, but it was time to upgrade, so pretty much got a whole new setup. I kept the old RAM out of there. I kept my SSD. Besides that, everything is pretty much new. So I wanted to show you guys a quick overview of mainly my Intel i9 9900X, not K, X series. Extreme processor. I haven't really seen any videos on this yet. I haven't seen much in terms of reviews, so hopefully this helps you guys in the gaming aspect at least. So this is my new build, NZXT H700i case. I got this case because it's one of the smaller, nicer cases that fit the EATX motherboards. So what we have here is an Evga X299 Dark motherboard. Awesome motherboard. Plenty of fans on the VRM, heat sinks all around. It's just a pretty looking motherboard. I wanted a dark one, literally, because you know a lot of motherboards now are RGB, and although this computer, as you can see right now, has RGB, I just set it up, so I'm gonna tone it down. But yeah, I went with that motherboard. I went with the Intel 9900X. Obviously, I went with the NZXT water cooler, the Kraken with 280 millimeter fan setup. I got the Corsair 120 millimeter fans all around. I got two 1080 Ti's, an SLI with a 2-slot EVGA bridge, both in PCI Express 16 slots, 3.0. Now, the reason I went with the 1080 Ti's is because you could get them used for cheap now. I got these things. I sold my original Gigabyte 1080, just regular 1080, for 450 bucks. I got this first 1080 Ti for 450, so the same exact price. I got a 1080 Ti. This is a super clock too, if you could see. And then later on, for about 500 bucks, I got a second one, which is a reference card. So they work fine together. The Super Clock 2 is clocked a little faster, like 100 megahertz, but it evens out and the scale's just great. So for under $1,000, I got two 1080 Ti's. Think about what a brand new RTX 2080 Ti costs. It's about 1,200 bucks. So 200 or more or less. I have graphics performance that beats out a 2080 Ti by a significant margin. And I'm about to show you guys that. So that's the video cards. Obviously the RAM, I have Corsair Vengeance DDR4 quad channel, so it's 32 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz RAM. I took my old sticks from my old PC, so that went good. That's my PNY SSD, and I got a 1000-watt Corsair RX power supply. So this thing's a beast, man. I love it. My graphics score on regular Firestrike is over 50K. My CPU score is around 25, 26K. Stock the 9900X is rated for 4.4 or 4.5 gigahertz. I went into BIOS. I manually changed it to 4.5, so I hit 4.5 gigahertz on all cores. And the thing just flies. It's a 10-core processor, 20 thread. It's just an absolute beast. It's a 165 watt processor, but I mean, it's literally doubling what I achieved with my 6700K. It's just a complete animal of a processor. And another reason I got it is because the 44 PCI lanes, opposed to newer chips like an 8700K, 7700K, even 9900K, they still only have 16 PCI lanes. So it was important for me, since I'm running SLI, to have 44 PCI lanes. This way I'm utilizing the 16 slots in their fullest. So that's pretty much it. I'll show you guys the scores, but I want to show you a quick benchmark here. This is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so the latest. This is a good benchmark. It's a very demanding game. Even a 2080 Ti or even the brand new RTX Titan, I was seeing on Jay's 2 cents. He ran it on average. It was like just under 60 FPS. I mean, the best single cards struggle to run this game 4K 60 FPS and fully max. So let me show you how this thing does. It's pretty wild. So we got 4K TIs, 60 hertz VSync off because I want to see how high the FPS could go. Graphics, Ultra 16, Ultra, HBAO plus, high, Ultra, on. Normal settings are the highest here, as you can see. Oh, excuse me. High is the highest. I think normal's the highest here. Yeah, normal's the highest here. On. So that's the absolute highest. Let's do this. Right now it's a little loud. I adjusted my fan curves. You're probably thinking, why is this fan this way? Why is fan that way? I just do it for aesthetics. The temperatures are pretty much fine. I really don't care about the 5-degree drop. Everything is where I want it to be. I'll probably switch it in the future, but right now my Kraken is the intake and those are pushing out. So let's see how we're doing here. Look at this FPS, dude. Look at this. It's in the hundreds. So I'm just going to let this run through. We'll see what my final FPS is. This game looks beautiful. And there's a few other benchmarks in YouTube of an RTX 2080 Ti versus the 1080 Ti and SLI. The 1080 Ti and SLI destroys the 2080 Ti. I mean, given it's 2 cards versus 1, but at the same time, those, for what I paid, is less than a single 2080. I mean, this FPS is just insane. And this game's demanding. If this was any other game in 4K, it'd probably be pushing like 130 FPS. If it was Battlefield, forget about it. It'd probably be like 150 FPS. This is a good benchmark. It definitely pushes it pretty hard. I should have had Afterburner up, but I'll tell you guys this. The temps, the top card in SLI, it hits like 80C max. The bottom card really stays around like mid-70s max. The clocks max out around 1850 megahertz. You know, CPU usage, it's got 10 cores. It's not gonna fully utilize all the CPUs, but I'll go over that after the fact. So still running this benchmark. As you can see, it's just ripping through this in these settings. The FPS is just insane. Yeah, this is the last portion of it. I'll let it finish, and I'll show you guys a few more things. Overall, I'm really happy with this build. I'm really happy with the processor. I'm really happy with 1080 Ti's and SLI. I think it's awesome performance given the price point. And the only thing I'm going to work on is the temps. Like I said, I don't care that much, but you know, sometimes it's mind over matter. So I'm probably going to move a few things around either way in the future, just to keep it lower, especially now that the processor is on manual mode. But 4.5 gigahertz is a nice point for the 9900X, and I'd rather have the extra cores over 9900K than the speed. And I'd definitely rather have the PCI lanes. Like I said, that was a huge factor. Alright, so the test is finishing up. Let's see here. Average FPS 76. It's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good for what it is. So, system memory, I got 32 gigs, 11 gigabytes on the card each. That is for that. Let's hop out of here. Quick game. Let's see my temps and stuff. Wow. That's actually pretty awesome. Look at my CPU temps. Didn't even break 65 for the package. The cores themselves didn't even break 60C. And look at that. Each core hit 4.5 gigahertz. That's amazing. Those temps are really good. You know, at first it got me a little concerned because Firestrike during the CPU test, it really cranks them. And I hit like 80, like a max, a super max of 80 package temp. But all the cores said they were in the 70s. But during gaming and everything else, I guess it doesn't utilize it fully. So those are the temps. Those are the clocks. That I gotta work on. My top guard gets hot. I think that's a little too hot for my liking. 85C. I gotta figure that out. That's really it. That's the clocks. That's everything else. I think, you know, those fans look pretty like that, but I think I gotta reverse them because that top guard just gets way too hot. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that. It's not the end of the world. I mean, 85C, it can handle it, but I'd like to keep it under 80. So, before I conclude this video, this was, you can see where my build went. At first I had a 1080 Ti, a single one with my 6700K. I think this was after the overclocking. But either way, a single GTX 1080 Ti graphics score on regular Firestrike was almost 30K, 29, which is pretty good. My physics score with the 6700K was just over 14. I think it was overclocked too. I think it was at 4.5 gigahertz, which is essentially a 7700K at that point, but it was about 14,000. So now we could see I changed it. This is when I first installed SLI. I was hitting 49K, two 1080 Ti's. My physics score, just under 14,000. That was at 7700K speeds. Same thing here. Similar results, 14,000. Graphics score was low there because SLI. If you have SLI and G-Sync, G-Sync will kill your SLI performance. That's why I got rid of my G-Sync monitor. It just wasn't worth it because I had it off. Same deal. And then once I installed the new build, you could see it just took off. This is before I overclocked. I shouldn't even say overclock because advertised speeds is 4.5 gigahertz. This is when I was set to auto and it only went to 4.1 gigahertz. So I had almost 50K on graphics, and then physics score was 23.5. So I went back in, I changed it to what it's supposed to be at. I set it to manual, 4.5 gigahertz. I broke 50K on graphics, and physics score was 25.5. This is phenomenal in my eyes. I'm very happy with it. Broke 31K on Firestrike. I'm a fan of regular Firestrike because it's just easy for me. That's all I run. I got the demo, but yeah, long story short, this is my build. 32 gigs of RAM, Intel 9900X 10-core processor, 1080 Ti's SLI. Ultimately, I love the shit out of it. I think it's awesome so far. Very happy with the performance. Very happy with the case, the temps. The only thing I said is like I gotta work on that top card. It's got a little too toasty for my liking, but if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. That is Z build. So hopefully this gives somebody insight with the processor. Thanks for watching.